We're back to the future. This is the German Touring Car Masters 2000. The German Touring Car Masters, today coming to you from the Motor Park in Oschersleben. This racetrack seats some 52,000 fans, and 19 drivers are there to entertain them all. It started with cat cars, lawnmowers, go-karts, and then came the stop in formula racing. The career was already planned, but then came an accident, and changes had to be made. In 1987, he was runner-up in the German Touring Car Championship in a Ford, then moved on to sports cars. The breakthrough, 1989, victory at Le Mans in a Sauber Mercedes. More successes followed with a Porsche, and Manuel Reuter, 7 years later, came back and won Le Mans again. In car number 7, of course. What about that number 7? Well, it's his lucky number. In 1996, he won the International Touring Car Championship. In number 7, of course. "17 times he's been on the podium. Precise driving, tough competitor, and perfect fitness. This is Manuel Reuter." First his home in Monaco, and then a move to Austria with his wife Michaela and his daughter Anna Teresa. She happened to be born on the 7th, by the way. Without a family life, life would be unthinkable for Manuel Reuter. In the first race of the new season of the German Touring Car Masters, he started on the pole. Things looked good in his white and yellow Opel, but then a mistake, and it was catch-up time for Manuel Reuter. He made up for the mistake, though. He battled from the back of the pack, all the way back toward the front. Naturally, the boss, Volker Stritzig, had to enjoy it, even though it was a tough battle. When it was over, Bernd Schneider won the race. And then Marcel Faisler was second, but third, Manuel Reuter. What a battle it was. How's he going to do here at Oschersleben? We're about to find out. And this is the track in Oschersleben, 2.28 miles long. They'll be running 28 laps per race today. 2 races make up a race weekend in the German Touring Car Masters. Some 52,000 fans are on hand as they watch Manuel Reuter start from the pole position. Next to him, another Opel, Michael Bartels, making a great start for himself. And look at this, Opel is also 3 and 4, Jochen Winkelhock and Eric Ellery. The first Mercedes, Bernd Schneider, 5th, but then 2 more Opels. So Opel sitting 6th, the top 7 cars. Marcel Faisler, 8th place in a Mercedes. Well, it's a little bit different color than normal. You expect the yellow or you expect blue, but a little bit of dark there. The firemen have got their work cut out for them before we can start the race today. Reuter qualified here at about 96.17 miles per hour. Top 13 cars were all within a second. Ready to go. 19 cars. Last corner before they head down the very long straight here. Reuter will be on the right. Bartels on the left. And we're underway. Reuter gets a great jump. Bartels drops in behind. And then it looks like Ellery and Winkelhock will fit into 3rd and 4th place. They go side by side. Stefano Modena has moved all the way up to 5th place. Somebody's had some aerodynamic changes to their car. Can't tell who had that one. But right now, it's Reuter out in front. Then comes Bartels. Then comes Winkelhock, Ellery, Modena, and Scheider. And then comes Bernd Schneider, all the way back in 7th place. He had started 5th and drops all the way back. You can see the yellow Audis in the back of the pack still trying to put their cars together to be competitive with the Mercedes and with the Opels, but they got their work cut out for them. They do have a 3rd car here in this particular race weekend with James Thompson, who has come in. We'll talk more about the Audis in just a minute as the cars sort themselves out here and getting into a train in the opening moments of the race here at Oschersleben. In the back section of the course now, they're headed toward a right-left chicane. This is a very quick part of the course, and fans standing all along that back stretch. A very fast chicane. It straightens out into a right-hander, a short straight, another right-hander, and they're back to end the first lap of the race. And Reuter is sitting out in front with no trouble whatsoever, and Modena remains in 5th place. And Schneider is now definitely in 7th. There goes Klaus Ludwig getting by Uwe Alsen. That is back in the pack a little bit, around 10th position. Reuter leads the first lap, and there you see the top 18, 19 cars. Thompson has evidently had some problems and may have to pull out. He had trouble in qualifying. He's one of the last running of the yellow Audis. You're riding now with Marcel Faisler, who had such a great race at Hockenheim, into a 5th gear left-hander. It's a sweeping left-hander that sets up for a 180 to the right. There are 3 basically 180s here, and this is the quickest of them. They come back up, and you can see that chicane. When they go through that chicane, they just use the curbs and nothing more. You don't pay much attention to the curve of the road. You get through as quick as you can, you head straight ahead. Reuter continues to lead. Absolutely no problems for the Opel crew, and what a change this is from Hockenheim, where Mercedes dominated. Right now, there are 4 Opels in front, 5 Opels in front, 6 Opels in front. Scheider is running in 6th place. So Opel has come back in a big way. The question now is, can Bernd Schneider in the Mercedes with the yellow mirrors fight back toward the front? He won the first 2 races, but now he's got his work cut out for him. Here you see the left-hand bend that takes him into one of the 180s after the start-finish line. This brings them out into a straight shoot, and another 180 that takes them back toward the fans. The fans who are watching in this area can see about 70% of this course. It was perfectly built for the fans. There goes Schneider trying to get inside Timo Scheider. He can't do it. He's got a lot of catching up to do. It's a hard course to pass on. There are a couple places where you can outbrake the competition, but it's a little tough. Here's the start again. You get to see the jump that Manuel Reuter got. Bartels, one of his best starting positions, drops in behind him, and Winkelhock on the left in what you'd call that red Opel, and behind him the orange Opel of Ellery. And the rest of the pack is sorting itself out as they head into the left-hander that gets them out onto the course. But you can see they can go 3 and 4 abreast here. It's a very wide course. Plenty of room down the front straightaway. Once again, you're with Faisler. Ahead of him is Uwe Alsen. And Schneider has just passed Timo Scheider. So Bernd Schneider has moved up, and once again, Marcel Faisler, and you're right behind Uwe Alsen. Alsen in Opel, who's had his share of acclimation problems, trying to get used to this car. He's been off the course in qualifying a couple of times here in practice. Something very unusual for the man. And Michel Bartels is off. Michel Bartels and the Opel is off and stuck in the gravel. After a great qualifying, he's taken himself out of it here. And there comes Schneider working up on Stefano Modena. Schneider going after another Opel. He's looking now for 4th place, and there's Bartel's car. Bartels would like to get out without help so that he can get back to the pits and continue to race. Timo Scheider, that 21-year-old that did so well at Hockenheim, right now sitting behind Bernd Schneider, who wants to get inside of Modena. They're coming down the long straight. This is one place he could get by, but it looks like Modena may hold him off unless Schneider can duck inside. Can't do it. Stefano Modena, the lone Italian in the field, holds off Bernd Schneider. Drives for the Euro team. They were a late entry, and the car was finished just before the first race. The rest of the field sorting itself out very nicely. There's the Faisler car that we've been riding with periodically, the black Mercedes, right there at the tail end of that train. Klaus Ludwig, the other identical car with the red mirrors, the teammate of Faisler. Ludwig, one of the veterans of the series. Where the battle right now is for Bernd Schneider. Can he move up to 4th and challenge the leaders? But right now, Manuel Reuter has had the track to himself and has built up a pretty good lead. He's going to be hard to catch. There's the Ellery. Opel, here comes Schneider again. He wants to get by Modena. The back chicane. He's right up on the bumper. Here we go down the long stretch. He gets inside in the last corner. He made it. He forced his way by. And Timo Scheider would like to do the same. Can't do it. Bernd Schneider has now moved up into 4th place. Stefano Modena is 5th. Timo Scheider is 6th. Thomas Jaeger, the teammate from Bernd Schneider, is 7th. But now Schneider has some clear track ahead of him and can try to do some catching up. He's already started to pull a little bit away from Modena. But the train behind him here is a difficult one and tight. Nobody seems to be making much motion there in the back. Another look at it. It was a nice move by Bernd Schneider. He simply got inside and took him before the last corner. It was a great pass. Bernd Schneider, one of the veterans of the series, a former champion, has driven for Mercedes for years. A very consistent driver, touring cars, some of his best, but he's done great in the GT cars, just about anything he's driven. Did a little bit of Formula One, had some unsuccessful years, and seemed to have found a place for himself in touring cars. And now he really has set himself aside, apart from Stefano Modena. He is rolling. In the first 2 races of the season, he had fastest laps in both races. Reuter can take it somewhat easy. He has to keep pushing, of course, but he now controls the race, and it's up to him to see what's going on as you're riding with Marcel Faisler once again. Into the left-hander. And then that sweeping right-hander. That's Michel Bartels. He was able to get back on the track, and right behind him is Reuter. Then comes Winkelhock, Ellery, and look at this. Bernd Schneider continues to pull up on the Opel trio out in front. The rest of the Mercedes crew and the rest of the Opels are bunched in the back of the pack. There's Klaus Ludwig. He had with the red mirrors, and now you're back with Marcel Faisler. He's trying to chase down Uwe Alsen. Good look at the young driver, new to the series, his debut at Hockenheim. And there are what remain of the Audis. We were talking earlier about the Audi situation. Christian Abt and Laurent Aiello, the regular Audi drivers, are running at Le Mans. And so they brought in Roland Asch, one of the veterans of touring car racing, to go along with Chris Nissen. And James Thompson was brought in from England he's going to appear with the Audi team later this season. He had problems in the qualifying. They let him start at the back of the pack in this first race, but he's had problems and has parked the car. And Bernd Schneider has now moved up on Eric Ellery. Schneider going for third place. You have to realize Reuter can hold out in front. He gets 20 points for the win. And so that every place that Bernd Schneider, who right now is the points leader, can make up in this first race will be that much less that Reuter can pull up toward him in the points. And with this type of racing where it's very, very tight, whoa, and Schneider went way off. Schneider lost it and is still trying to run down Eric Ellery. It was Jochen Winkelhock who said in the practice session, it's not so much finishing the race, it is staying on the course. And one of those going off the course, Bernd Schneider. A number of drivers have been humbled by this place. They have seen a lot of grass and a lot of gravel. Schneider pulling up on Eric Ellery, the Frenchman, one of the most popular drivers in the series, very friendly man, very fair driver. But he sure can be tough when the time gets to that point. The rest of the pack working its way through. There's Pedro Lamy. He has gotten by Stefano Modena. Lamy, who is making his debut in the German touring car scene, had a difficult start in the Hockenheim races, but is doing quite well here at Oschersleben. Right behind them is Klaus Ludwig. And there is how Lamy got by Stefano Modena. Clean pass. Timo Scheider. Then comes Jaeger. Then comes Lamy, Modena, and then Klaus Ludwig. This is the pack in the back trying to move up as best they can. The car with that red dot on the hood, right there, the red marking, that is Uwe Alsen. And he is trying to get by Fässler, and he does. Whoa, and he cut him off. He clipped him, it looked like. Behind them, the two blue and gray Pearson Mercedes cars. Alsen was really tight. Günther Holzer on the left. And more of the car falls apart. As Alsen is behind Fässler. This is quite a battle. You can see that they've rearranged the front end of Uwe Alsen's car. Alsen and his Opel have not quite come together yet. Here's what happened as, whoa, Fässler got by, but then cut in, and when he cut in, he clipped part of Uwe Alsen's car. Volker Stritzek on the left, a former German touring car champion, and now running the Opel operation. Uwe Alsen's going to have his hands full now to hold off the two Pearson Mercedes. That's Marcel Timon right behind him, and then Peter Dumbreck behind Timon's car. Here comes Ludwig once again. Ludwig with the red mirrors and the black Mercedes moving up on Stefano Modena. Fässler behind him. The smoking wheel of Uwe Alsen in that black with red trim Opel. Alsen getting off to a very slow start at Hockenheim. Not at all happy with the way things went there. He picked up overall 2 points at Hockenheim and finished 9th in the second race, did not finish the first race. Here comes Timon. Timon gets inside, and Dumbreck tries to get inside and bumps into Alsen. Dumbreck was trying to follow Timon by Uwe Alsen, And Alsen goes off the course. So Alsen continues to have his problems in the opening races of the season here in the German Touring Car Masters. Certainly a tough touring car competitor, started in Porsche racing. One of the few drivers in this field that didn't start in Formula racing. He's been in the hardtops his whole career. Drove the GT cars successfully. Get a good look here at Oschersleben. Here it happens again. Whoa, well, they'll discuss that one. Who did what to whom there? Dumbreck had the line. It looked like Alsen might have come in and cut him off. Here comes Ludwig on the right, trying to get by Modena. And he does. Ludwig moves up a slot, getting by Stefano Modena. Klaus Ludwig, who has also not had a great start for a champion of the German Touring Car Championship, a three-time Touring Car Championship, actually. He's had a couple wins at Le Mans, but right now he's having a hard time getting his car sorted out to be competitive. Bernd Schneider now attacking Ellery. Eric Ellery, Bernd Schneider, the battle for third. And this is tight. Schneider has passed just about anywhere he can. The Mercedes is very strong. He does have the fastest lap so far here in the first race. And Alsen's brought his car in. Uwe Alsen has brought the car in for some work, get it ready for the second race. After all the damage here in the first race, I don't blame him. Here comes Schneider on the inside. They're going to go down the straightaway here. Speeds of 175 miles an hour at the end of this straight, and they're side by side. Who's going to give? That's Ellery on the right, Schneider on the left. He holds him off. They bump. Ellery spins, and Schneider goes off. Ellery keeps going, so does Schneider, but Schneider is by. Not the pass you might want to see, but he's certainly got by him. Timo Scheider now is pulled up behind Ellery. And Thomas Jaeger is behind Scheider. So Bernd Schneider now is in third. Ellery is in fourth. Rather unceremoniously dropped back. Scheider is now running in fifth position. Thomas Jaeger is sixth. And Pedro Lamy is running seventh. Another look at it from up in the helicopter. There was no room. When Ellery tried to go in, he was hit by Schneider. Schneider was lucky that he didn't hit him. They stayed basically on the track. It looked like they went off all the way. They got off a little bit into the dirt. Schneider looking for a place to go by. Ellery had good control to keep it going, and then Schneider gets by. Volker Stritzik now. Not too happy about that one. And there goes Modena and Fasler. Fasler gets by. Modena spun out. Might have been a little help there. Meanwhile, this is the man that is out in front. Manuel Reuter took the pole and has rolled ever since. There are two lap cars. And then comes Jochen Winkelhock. Longtime BMW driver this year in an Opel. He is running second. But Manuel Reuter, after races at Hockenheim where he was dropped back to 13th in the second race because of spinning someone out, Reuter had finished third in the first race, and he now looks like he's headed for victory here at Oschersleben. You're riding with Winkelhock. Smokin' Joe, they call him. Winkelhock won the Super Touring Car Championship. He won the British Touring Car Championship. A touring car specialist. And one of the most popular drivers in the series. But Reuter with a good 5-second lead here, 5.5-second lead. And the crew continues to work on the Uwe Alsen car, setting it up for the second race, getting the work done now. They have, between races, there's 15 minutes to work on the cars. So Alsen brought it in early so they could get some work done. We're into the final lap of the first race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters here in Oschersleben, Germany, near the city of Magdeburg. Chris Nissen goes off the course in one of the Audis. They're running back in the pack. Meanwhile, Manuel Reuter continues to roll. Ellery back and forth. There's Scheider 5th. Jaeger is 6th. Lamy is 7th. Ludwig is 8th. Bernd Schneider, who had dropped back to 7th, is up into 3rd. Then comes this last pack of 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. With this the final lap, it's going to be difficult for anybody to make a pass here unless they really force the issue. And Ellery, who was so unceremoniously passed by Bernd Schneider, certainly is going to not let a 21-year-old Timo Schneider get by. But Schneider certainly has had some great racing. 2 fourth-place finishes at Hockenheim, and right now he is running 6th. Not bad for a rookie. And here comes Manuel Reuter. He'll take the checkered flag in Oschersleben to win the first race of the weekend in the German Touring Car Masters. It's a very happy crew, and certainly a very happy Manuel Reuter. And the same for Jochen Winkelhock. Winkelhock, who had a 10th place finish at Hockenheim, certainly improved it. And there's Jochen. You can see the tube up there for a little fresh air coming into the helmet. Ellery comes in with a good 4th place finish. So Ellery has also improved from where he was last time. But there's the man. Manuel Reuter has brought Opel back to the victory circle. And the Opel crew couldn't be any happier. He drives for the Opel Phoenix team. Ernst Moser has put that together. It's the first time they've been out there. But there it is. The top 8, Reuter, Winkelhock, Schneider, Ellery, Scheider, and then Jaeger, Lamy, and Klaus Ludwig running in 8th position. So Reuter has pulled up in the points to within 20 now of Bernd Schneider. So the points race once again was tight. It looked like Schneider might get a good jump and get away. He didn't. Looking at the rest of the field, Faisler, Thiemann, Dumbreck, Modena, who had driven so well in the beginning, got off the pace and dropped back to 12th. Then comes Darren Turner, Menzo, Asch, and Chris Nissen, the 2 Audis running in the back of the pack. Thompson did finish, but he was down a lap. Then Michel Bartels was another of the casualties early in the race, but he was able to come back around and at least bring the car across the finish line. 15 minutes break now as the mechanics have a chance to work on the cars, get them ready for the second race of the day here in Oschersleben. It's a very difficult time because they have to wait until everything, they get a signal, and then they can start to do the work on the cars. And there's Bernd Schneider, and he's talking to Norbert Haug. He's the Mercedes team manager. Haug is at the Formula One race in Canada, and so they're right now talking about how things are going here in Oschersleben. Bernd Schneider is your point leader, and Reuter, as we said, is within 20, as is Marcel Faisler. Ready to go. Second heat of the day here in Oschersleben, 2.28-mile course. A challenging course, just a little bit south of the city of Magdeburg. Very wide, actually. 14 corners on this one. There are 2 long 180s and then a very tight 180. The narrowest part of the course is about 12 yards, the widest section 14, which means you can see 3 and 4 cars abreast, particularly here at the start. Rolling around the last corner, they come out onto the long straightaway. On the left is Winkelhock in that red Opel. On the right, Manuel Reuter, waiting for the green. We're underway. And Reuter gets the jump. Winkelhock tucks in behind him, but the battle for 3rd and 4th is tight. It looks like Ellery got by. He did. He got by Schneider, and we have some bumping going on back in the pack. Cars are spinning, cars are going off. We have a major collision here that's going to all Opels, it looks like. And there is the Opel of Menzel, Christian Menzel, looks like his race is over. Menzel, Scheider, and Modena all involved. Looks like Menzel is out of it. And now we have to see if the Mercedes folks, there's the Menzel Irmscher Opel. He's not going anywhere in this race. The cars sorting themselves out here in Oschersleben in the German Touring Car Masters. Second event of the day. There's your leader, Manuel Reuter in the Opel, followed by the Opels of Jochen Winkelhock and Eric Ellery, and then the Mercedes of Bernd Schneider. Schneider fought his way back to third, has dropped back to fourth here, and Uwe Alsen has gone off along with Darren Turner. Alsen's been off this course a number of times, and Turner seems to be out for the day. Darren Turner's car is parked. At last count, Uwe Alsen had been off the course here about 8 times. He has had a hard time sorting that car out and getting used to it. But the man that is out in front is having no trouble. Manuel Reuter, that first quartet running well. Jaeger is running 5th. Pedro Lamy is running 6th. Fessler is running 7th. And then comes Klaus Ludwig, followed by Dumbreck and Thiemann, and then that black and red Opel of Uwe Alsen. So far, it has certainly been an Opel day here at Oschersleben, although the beginning of this race, 3 of them collided with each other, which certainly will cut back on their effectiveness. 8 Opel started, 8 Mercedes. Now the blue car going off the course right there is Scheider, the 21-year-old rookie. He comes out and bumps into Jaeger. Now everyone else is trying to play a void here and not hit anybody. And then Scheider spins, and more cars spin in the back. There goes Menzel. He is helped along by Modena. Menzel is the only one that fell out. Everybody else was able to keep going. Uwe Alsen off the course. Uwe trying out the grass. Boy, he's had a tough time getting used to this car. Michel Bartel's car is being pushed back in, so he's had a tough weekend. Bartels had hoped for better things, I'm sure. He had finished 8th and 3rd at Hockenheim. He finished 18th in the first race here, and now it looks like the car is out of it. Klaus Ludwig behind his young teammate, Marcel Fessler. Fessler, 24 years old, from Switzerland. Klaus Ludwig, the veteran, winning just about everything you can win in touring cars, that's for sure. And he's won Le Mans. Well, in fact, he's won it a couple times. Right now, he's behind his young teammate, Marcel Fessler, 24, from Switzerland. He came from go-karts to Formula Renault. Last year, he was in German Formula 3. Uwe Alsen, again spinning. He lets the Audis get by him. Uwe's got some problems. He had that bumping incident in the first event race, and a couple of bumping incidents. Went off the course a couple of times. The car doesn't seem to be sorted out at all now. Reuter comes across. Then Winkelhock, Ellery, and Bernd Schneider. There are those who feel the Mercedes is meant to run stronger at the end than it is at the beginning of each race. If that's the case, Bernd Schneider has a good chance to make up ground. But it looks like between Hockenheim and here, the Opel team has done their homework. The cars are running very, very strong. Lamy and Klaus Ludwig are battling. Lamy in that white Mercedes right there. Ludwig in the black Mercedes with the red mirrors. Pedro Lamy, coming from Portugal, lives in Lisbon. Keke Rosberg's team prepares the car. He was a GT2 champion in 1998, and he's been at Le Mans. Now he's in touring cars here in Germany. Manuel Reuter continues to set the pace. And Jochen Winkelhock seems to be able to settle right in there in second. He's not been able to make up much ground on Reuter. Eric Ellery third, and once again being challenged by Bernd Schneider. The top quartet has stayed together from the opening moments of the race. Ellery got a good jump, got ahead of Schneider, who had beaten him in the first race. So now Schneider's going to have to make that pass again. You're right now with Marcel Fessler as he works his way through the field. And it looks like Ellery may have some problems. Eric Ellery car has slowed down. Cars are passing him quite easily. Something's wrong with the Ellery Opel. He spun. That's Eric Ellery in his Opel right there. He spun on his own, and Bernd Schneider had to go through the dust and hope that he didn't hit him. He went out on his own, something wrong with the car, and he's been dropping back ever since. So Bernd Schneider moves up into third place. There he is, Ellery way back in the pack, ahead of the Pearson Mercedes. That is Dumbreck, ahead of Thiemann. And that is Pedro Lamy, who has dropped way back. Lamy behind the two Pearson Mercedes. Here comes Klaus Ludwig, and there's Marcel Fessler. He continues to pull forward here. Fessler finished second twice at Hockenheim. He finished ninth in the first race, and a car has gone off. It's Bernd Schneider. Bernd Schneider has gone off the course into the tires. Bernd Schneider, who was the point leader, who had fought his way up into third place finish in the first race, was running third, and it looks like his day is over. What happened? He's on his own. See him up there in the center of your screen? On his own. He went off on his own through the tires. So something happened with the car, and he went off with some speed. But the course here in Oschersleben is a very safe-built course. One of the most modern courses in Germany, one of the newer ones actually. It was construction started in 1996, it opened in 97. It's praised for everyone as far as the safety angle is concerned and for the fans who can see a lot, but right now all they're seeing is that Bernd Schneider has got some problems. Well, he'd like to get back in and get it started. The question is going to be, can he or not? Who knows? Stefano Modina's car is in the pits. Something's wrong with his car. And there comes one of the remaining Audis. These guys have worked very hard this season. They got the cars finished late before the start of the season, and they've had to battle ever since. That was Roland Ash in number 23. Ahead of him is Chris Nissen. Nissen has been with the Audi app team for quite some time. Schneider's got it running again. Schneider's got his car running again, is bringing it back out. We'll try to get it into the pits to see if he can get back out. It's very important if he can pick up some points here. There's 20 points for a win. And if Reuter wins here and Schneider finishes out of the points, then Reuter ties him for the points lead. There are only 14 cars, I believe, running at this point, so the points go all the way down to 10th position. If Schneider can get in and get some breaks somewhere, he might be able to pick up at least 1 point. But that's just something for speculation. There are the two Pearson Mercedes running behind Eric Ellery. Here comes Bernd Schneider, missing one rear view mirror. They're going to have to do some cleanup work on that car to get it out. The AMG HWA prepared car comes in. They're going to have to change the hood and see what else they can get him out in time so he doesn't lose too many laps. Klaus Ludwig leading this pack right here. Hans-Werner Aufrecht on the left, the head of the AMG operation. His top driver went off the course, either on his own through a mistake or something broke on the car. Meanwhile, back in the pack, the two Pearson Mercedes have gotten by Eric Ellery. Timon is trailing behind Peter Dumbreck. Still working on Bernd Schneider's car in the AMG pit. They are going to get him out. The question is, how far back is he going to be? He's back at least 2 laps. He's in the car. They should be able to get him out momentarily. Reuter continues to roll with Jochen Winkelhock running in second place with absolutely no problems so far. Marcel Fessler is running right now in the 3rd position, and out comes Bernd Schneider. He is now 3 laps down. Bernd Schneider 3 laps down in the 2nd race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters here in Oschersleben. There he is, but he's got a long way to catch up. All he can really hope for here is that the cars, some of the cars that are running ahead of him, have mechanical problems and fall out, and he can inherit at least 10th place, which is worth 1 point. Every point counts in a season like this. 9 race weekends, but there are 2 races per weekend, and so you try to pick them up as early as you can, as many as you can. And Manuel Reuter right now is one of those who'd love to pick up 20, and he's way out in front. But you can see that Bernd Schneider now is running behind Jochen Winkelhock, 3 laps down. And he really is going to have his work cut out for him. And a car going off the course. It looks like Uwe Alsen. It is. Boy, Uwe Alsen has certainly tried every line in the world on this course. Sooner or later, he and that Opel will become friends, but right now they're battling each other. Klaus Ludwig, then comes Peter Dumbreck, and then comes Marcel Timon. And Timon wants to get by his teammate, but Dumbreck says nothing doing. Timon's got his headlights on. Hey, I'm here. I'm running quick. Let me by. And Dumbreck's going, I got to go after Klaus Ludwig. Peter Dumbreck, known last year because he was in that Mercedes that Le Mans that went up in the air and flipped over end for end. Uwe Alsen working his way forward. Down the front straightaway. He has passed Eric Ellery, but he is way down in the pack. He has had to battle all the way along throughout this weekend with this car. He did not finish the first race. He's running in the top 10 here. Here comes Winkelhock moving up on and getting by one of the Audis who just pulled over and out of the way. The Audis just have got a long way to go. They're built by the App Sportsline team, a very competent team. But they're not quite the same factory support that Opel and Mercedes have. And so they're certainly fighting against windmills here. It's a difficult battle, an uphill one. And what's a little bit a shame is they haven't picked up much time from where they were at Hockenheim. On the other hand, the 2 top drivers, Laurent Aiello and Christian Abt, are not here in Oschersleben. They're at Le Mans. Marcel Fessler continues to roll. This young driver has certainly shown he belongs in touring cars. In 9th place in the first race, but right now he's running 3rd. Doing an excellent job. He brought everybody's attention when he qualified 4th at Hockenheim and had 2 second-place finishes. An amazing start for a rookie. He's got to make up almost 5 seconds, though, if he wants to catch up with Jochen Winkelhock. So far this season, the pole sitter has won each race. In fact, the pole sitter so far in the first 3 have swept from start to finish. Timo Scheider, who is running back in the pack a little bit here, had 2 fourth-place finishes at Hockenheim, but he is another rookie that is up in the top group. Opel can certainly smile winning here and showing so strong. They had 2 third-place finishes at Hockenheim, but they certainly have turned things around. Now, when you think that Manuel Reuter had run so well and had run up into third in the second race at Hockenheim, but then was penalized because of a rough bumping incident and dropped back all the way to 13th, he would have been in the points race, if not leading the points race at this time. Long season to go yet, though. They'll be coming back here to Oschersleben later this season, in fact. The next stop on the tour, though, will be the Norris Ring, a street course in the city of Nuremberg. Thousands of people will be there. It's an amazing crowd. 52,000 have come here to Oschersleben. A great crowd for this series. It is a rebirth of a series of several years ago, which was the German Touring Car Championship. It became the International Touring Car Championship, and then it folded for a couple of years. But now it's back as the German Touring Car Masters. There's talk that a couple of other manufacturers will be coming into the series, or want to come into the series next year. Peugeot has been mentioned, BMW has been mentioned. Volvo, another possibility. A car was prepared for them this year on an independent basis, but not entered. Once again, Günther Holzer, the man that prepares the Opels. He must feel really good today. Real turnaround from what happened at Hockenheim. Bernd Schneider continues to pull along here as Marcel Fasler works his way on trying to catch up with Jochen Winkelhock, and he has cut the gap a little bit. He's cut it by about a second. On the other hand, Winkelhock has good control of the race. He's a veteran. He knows when it's time to push and when to conserve. He could be conserving the car. Right now, though, it's Marcel Fasler who's making the chase. He's the one that's on the charge. Behind him is Bernd Schneider, but he still is 3 laps down after that crash going off the course. He has not made it into the top 10. And unless something drastic happens, it doesn't look like he may. He's running 12th right now. So he could finish out of the points. If he does finish out of the points and Reuter goes on to win in this final lap, Reuter and he will be tied for the Drivers' Championship after 4 races in this very young season. There's Winkelhock. Jochen running second. He had a 10th and a 6th place at Hockenheim. Certainly has improved in this one. It was his first race in the Opel at Hockenheim. Qualified 9th and was 10th and 6th. Günther Holzer. Pressing his thumbs, a German tradition for good luck. And here's the one he's hoping for good luck. He's only got 2 more corners to go. Manuel Reuter, the Opel driver, has led from start to finish and has just got a few more yards to go. Manuel Reuter comes across, winner of the second race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters here in Oschersleben. Opel is back. They swept 1 and 2 again. And Marcel Fasler has come in 3rd. What a great drive for him. A 9th and a 3rd place finish. He can be real happy. The top Mercedes in the field today. That will keep him in the points race, that's for sure. And there's Volker Stritzig, another very happy man. He runs Opel Racing. And right now, the man that has done the running is right there, Manuel Reuter. Reuter wins the second race of the day, takes his helmet off. And now he can relax. It's been very, very hot here in Oschersleben. But now it's time to receive the congratulations. And looking at the team championship for the various teams in this series, the Opel Team Phoenix, that's this team right here, belongs to Manuel Reuter is now in second place behind the AMG Mercedes D2 team. And they're only 5 points back. So there it is. Manuel Reuter, Jochen Winkelhock, Marcel Fessler, then Jaeger, Dumbreck. Great finish for him. Tiemann, Scheider, and Pedro Lamy came in 8th position. Those are your top 8 here at Oschersleben. Dumbreck, who was also new to this series, finished 11th in the first race, 5th place in the second one. Good improvement. Then Alsen, who has fought that car all weekend long, comes in 9th position. Ellery holds on for 10th, and then Bernd Schneider finishes 12th. Darren Turner, who went out earlier, did not finish in the race. So it's time to celebrate here. The top drivers in both races today get a chance to celebrate among themselves and certainly with all the fans. And for the Opel team, it certainly is plenty of reason to celebrate after their big comeback. And there's your points race. You can see Schneider and Reuter are tied. Then comes Fessler in 3rd with Winkelhock moving up into 4th position. So it's a great start for Opel. The series is as tight as ever, but the man of the hour is certainly Manuel Reuter, a man that came back after a disappointing start in Hockenheim. He has now brought the Opel team back into contention, winning 2 races today here in Oschersleben, the second race weekend of the series.
I think it's really emotional because nobody was expecting after Hockenheim that we will be able here to fight against Mercedes or maybe to win. And so I'm really, really proud that I took here pole position, both wins.
And that does it for the racing in Oschersleben. I'm Milt Fitzwater. Hope you'll join us again for the next event at the Norris Ring in the German Touring Car Masters.